Hello, Tanner here, and welcome to the Saints and Sinners Zombie Survival Guide. I actually don't know if I've decided on the name. Zombie Survival Guide, Bayou Survival Guide. A combination of the two? I don't know. Let me know what sounds best in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for more VR guides, tips, tricks, reviews, and demos. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you want to see me play a specific game or do a very specific guide. Anything like that. I'm going to get right to it. Today, we're going to talk about salvaging. Did I say today's video is about salvaging? Today's video is about scavenging. If you want your salvage inventory to look something like that, oh boy, I got the guide for you. Actually, here's a better view of it. Yep, that's a pretty good numbers. Gunpowder, you're always going to struggle with, probably. Weapon frames, that's actually a good amount. I guess the first thing to note would be find a good scavenging location. The Shallows is actually honestly really good early on. So is Via Corolla. Old Town, meh. Rampart is huge. There's always lots of stuff, but it's very dangerous. The Ward doesn't particularly stand out to me. Neither does Bywater and Bastion. Memorial Lane has always been my favorite. It's always been a very good spot for me to search. For me, at least. I'm not going to speak for you. For me, for you. You're here, I'm here. Weird. But anyways, that's just my personal experience. Here's some bonus tips. If you have gotten far enough in the story to unlock this here, it's always good to go after stuff that says extra loot, any kind of patrol or death squad. Sometimes there's a specific cache, so if you need specifically weapons, medicine, or food, there you go. It'll show up something like that. And there's other things like delayed herds. So yeah, keep an eye out for that kind of stuff depending on what you want. I've learned that death squads are perfect for especially elite ones and later on in the game. They're good for weapon frames, even larger ones. Smaller ones almost all of the time, I've noticed. They'll drop pistol frames. Sometimes they'll even drop boxes of stuff, and when you've beaten the game, they start dropping schematics, and I have another guide on that actually. Same with caches. They have boxes of stuff in that specific crafting section. You always have a map. Buildings that can be explored are highlighted in a different color, so it's good to keep mindful of where you've been, where you've already explored and scavenged. But I did show you this earlier. You can always check your salvage inventory and see what you need to scavenge and be nitpicky as much as you want. Next, I would like to get to what you should always keep on you. Now, obviously, if you haven't upgraded your stations at all, you're not going to be able to have all this stuff. So I'd recommend that once you get good at scavenging, just a little bit, upgrade these. And honestly, probably this one first, and then start focusing on weapons later on. My favorite is the deep pockets. That gives you another weapon slot and a whole nother page, a whole nother 9 little slots. So those are my main focus in the beginning of the game. Because honestly, it benefits you in the whole. And this gives you more stamina and more health. And this gives you more protection, silence, strength training. And all of this stuff is due to scavenging. Because it takes a monumental amount of stuff to upgrade. I'm talking like 50 metal scraps up to like 60 wood pieces. It's nuts. So thanks to scavenging, you can get all this and then have all that. To get to the next section, what you should always have on you. I always had some type of bandage. If you can't craft them, have crappy ones. It's okay, they don't hurt your health. Medicine, if you do find some, at least always have one on you. It doesn't look like this. This is crafted medicine. I just found medicine. And Nutria Stew. Don't eat found food. Just don't do it. It's bad. It's not helpful. It's garbage. Don't eat found food. You always have this recipe unlocked. And all it takes is 2 water, 2 protein, 2 fiber, and 1 spice. That's not much. You can always make Nutria Stew, and just don't eat found food. I always had at least 1 melee weapon in my pocket, and at least 1 in my backpack. Right now it's jacked up because I just went scavenging. Did I already mention that it's smart to use weapons that you find first? bottles, honestly, are one of the smartest choices. I should actually mention that what I'm talking about now is just early game before you have access to stuff. And at least one weapon, you should probably have one, and probably a recipe for it as well, and maybe enough ammo. And that's about it. Bandages, medicine, food, 2 stabbers, and 2 shooters. And later on in the game, once you start crafting all sorts of all kinds of your own stuff, I would recommend keeping better bandages, same kind of food, your own crafted medicine, and probably the same with weapons and stuff like that. I'd recommend that once you start encountering humans, especially if they're related to the story, they're grouped up and it's difficult, I'd recommend you start carrying a long weapon, like at least a bow. I would recommend at least having a shotgun. But, that's up to you. And again, like at least 2 guns, at least 2 knives, at least one of each of these. Now, late in the game, what I do is I usually have a shotgun on my shoulder, an assault rifle in this spot, my bow here. I've got tons of explosive arrows, ammo. I carry at least 3 explosive egg timers. I carry 2 sticky bombs, and I carry 1 nail bomb. And I always carry walker innards. As soon as you have access to this, I'd recommend start carrying at least like 1 or 2 of those with you. Bonus tip, the most okay, shut up, radio. Done? Bonus tip, one of the most useful explosives in the game does not take gunpowder to create. So, that's why I always have tons of them in my backpack. And super late game, I carry the best bandages, wait till I'm almost dead to use them. I carry 2 medicines and 2 foods. And I actually carry like 3 guns and 2 knives at least. And I typically try to stick to my bow and my knife mostly, unless stuff starts to get hairy. Holy shit. And I do go after humans a lot. That's why I carry a shotgun. Always, always, always pick up ammo. So yeah, depending on where you are with your stations and where you are with your materials and stuff like that, and how far along in the game you are, how often you're being attacked by humans versus zombies, so on and so forth. You can gauge, what you'll pretty much need. Now on to actual scavenging. I'll start off with stuff that you should always grab. Ammo. It doesn't take up backpack space. Always pick it up. Arrows. Any kind of boxes of ammo. Grab it. Always, no matter what. You find a piece of crap gun, eject the ammo, put it in your bag, put the gun in your backpack. That is what you always, always, always need to grab. Now, priority number 1 in my book of survival and scavenging, boxes of stuff are your go-to.
I need to bandage it so he can heal.
Here's another little bonus. A lot of the times, if you come across innocent survivors just asking for stuff and you happen to have it, watch what happens. So I gave him a bandage, right? He gave me stuff to almost make a brand new bandage. Granted, I have to scavenge a little bit, but... Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Well, thanks for the bandage back. You could just cold hard kill him and not waste any of your materials. As you can see, it just stays. Damn, I'm sorry, guy. So yeah, a lot of the times when they ask for something, their payment is a box of stuff in line with what you gave them, basically. Similar crafting materials.
Thank you so much. You just saved us. This is for you.
I found all of this in one scavenging run in Memorial Lane, as I was telling you about. I didn't even look hard at all. I didn't open any cabinets. I found all this crap just laying out in the open. So this is my priority number 1, boxes of stuff. No protein, which is why priority number 2 is probably going to be foods with proteins. Like dragon bars, certain like meats, dog food, stuff like that. That's probably high up on the priority list. This box of stuff is just like one of the 2 crafting boxes of stuff, it seems. This is the other one. It has gunpowder, workable metal, nuts, and bolts. So that's priority number 1, maybe priority number 2. My second priority was gunpowder. Anything with gunpowder in it. This is actually decent for it. Matches, skulls have a little bit. Anything with gunpowder. Next up would be working weapons, actually. That's actually might be a little higher up on the list. You want to look out for working weapons for sure. At least until you can craft your own. Even then, working weapons, even if they're pieces of crap, are worth salvaging so you can make your own. And then, next on my priority list was weapon frames, starting with large, because you come across tons and tons of small ones, so keep an eye out for large ones. It might be a while before you start seeing them in the story, but keep an eye out for weapon frames. Those are very important, and they're not very common. Now, you may have noticed that the boxes of stuff didn't have every single type of like crafting ingredient in them, even among all 3 types of them. So from then, your priority would probably be, I would say, medicine and bandages and all types of food would be next on the list. And then beyond that, everything else, always always referencing this to see what you need, so on and so forth. Those are your scavenging priorities. A few, like, kind of obvious pieces of advice. If you run out of time, your watch goes off, leave. Just leave. Like, don't worry about it. It's all good. There's always stuff to scavenge. I'm on day 67 and I found all this crap. Also, if you start running out of weapons, just leave. Because if you've at least scavenged some stuff, you can craft more weapons later on and you won't die. If you start running out of bandages, just leave. Like, it's all gravy. And honestly, probably most importantly, unless you have something else to do in the area, when your bag's full, just leave. And on your way out, if you see anything good, just prioritize, what you need. Boxes of stuff, so on and so forth. And after recycling all that crap, our numbers are back up. Not terrible. I could live forever in this bayou. I was going to mention that you should be quick with your scavenging, but eventually you'll get naturally good at it. It's been a long time since I ran out the clock. It only happens when I'm looking for a cache in a gigantic map. And that's just dumb. Honestly, I would recommend just don't go to Rampart for general scavenging. Get guides for the stuff that's in it. I actually made a guide for the stuff that's in it if you want to check it out. I'm sorry this video isn't very action-packed, but I had to make sure that I wasn't full of shit and actually got the stuff before I started recording. But I hope it was informative enough to make up for it. So if you found it useful, go ahead and let me know that in the comments. And if you have better tips or tricks or other tips or tricks for me, just let me know. Also, if you like this survival guide and want to see me continue it with different sections, of course, let me know. Also down in the comments. As always, feel free to check out some of my other content. I've got plenty of it. Till next time, Tanner's out. Where'd it go? Uh-oh. Oops. Oh well.